The magician Efren Bata Reyes, the greatest pool player of all time and author of the most iconic pool shots in history, who is recognizable from his impossible escapes from difficult situations on the table. And in this episode, I'm going to take the most outstanding shots and try to recreate all of them on my table as accurately as possible with fewest possible attempts. I tried to choose those shots that I was able to recreate on the table without the problems associated with the fact that I don't have left arm, so I hope you will like this selection. To summarize all shots, I will determine difficulty and recreation accuracy based on my observations, and at the end I will show you my personal top 3 Efren Reyes shots of all time. I did a lot of work to recreate for you all of these shots, so be sure to leave a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to be updated with videos like this. We need to start with legendary and very funny situation where Efren, after potting the 9-ball, created perfect position for 10-ball into the corner pocket. But on his face we saw that he wants to do it bit different and nominated 10-ball into the middle pocket. During Efren's attempt, I saw that he applied a lot of English to change path of the 10-ball after contact with top short rail, and initially I had big problems to hit the object ball in correct point. Additionally, with my clean balls, it was much more difficult to transfer spin to the object ball and cause it to make contact with the second rail. But after some very bad attempts, I was able to recreate this shot very quickly. Maybe it looked a bit different than the original shot because I used only one rail, but 10-ball made second contact with the cue ball and went into the pocket. And now we need to pay attention to this legendary L shot where Efren's opponent executed effective jump shot and Efren decided to use jaw of the middle pocket to dramatically change path of the cue ball and effectively pot the 1-ball which was placed near the corner pocket. Initially I had big problems to find the correct point of contact with the jaw of the middle pocket to go between 8-ball and long rail. Additionally, I tried to experiment with spin on the cue ball which caused it to go a bit different than I expected. But after some not good attempts, I was able to find the correct path for the cue ball and pot the 1-ball in 14th attempt, in a very similar way like in original shot. And now we need to move forward to this another interesting situation where Efren's opponent trying to pot the 1-ball accidentally had the cue ball behind the 9-ball. But this was not a problem for the magician because he is god of kickshots and this time he executed 4-rail kickshot between all the balls to pot the 1-ball into the corner pocket. I thought that it will be very difficult to find the correct path for the cue ball because I needed to play very close to the 7-ball. To my surprise, practically during every attempt I was very close to hit the 1-ball correctly, but I played too thin or too thick. But after some very close attempts, I potted the 1-ball in 15th attempt, which was a huge surprise for me. In the following situation, we need to look closer at this 1-rail kickshot with effective pot on 4-ball into the corner pocket. I thought that this shot should be much easier than the previous examples, but to my surprise I couldn't find correct point of contact with top short rail, which resulted with wrong contacts with 4-ball. Additionally, 4-ball was far away from the corner pocket, so in this case I needed to be very precise and hit the object ball very accurately, because there was not margin of error. To my huge surprise, this shot was a very big problem for me, which generated in me great impatience and doubt that I could perform this shot correctly.
A few moments later.
But after a huge number of very bad shots and very close hits, I was able to find this perfect contact with 4-ball, which ended inside the pocket, and it took me 85 attempts, which was a huge shock for me. And right after this shot, we need to move forward and look at this very creative carom where Efren intentionally caused the cue ball to hit the 6-ball after contacting with 2-ball, which went towards the corner pocket. This shot was absolutely amazing, but Efren didn't forget about position for 2-ball, which after contacting 2 long rails came back and ended in perfect place. I thought that it will be quite challenging to hit the 6 ball in correct place, because it was located far away from the corner pocket. But fortunately I was in big shock because I was able to recreate this shot almost perfectly already in 4th attempt. And now we need to move to this outstanding kickshot which Efren made during match against Ronnie Alcano. His opponent played perfect safety shot, leaving the cue ball behind other ball, while next ball is located in other side of the table, far away from the cue ball. I knew that this shot should be very challenging for me, but I didn't expect what will happen next. As you can see, I tried to find the correct point of contact on bottom short rail and apply correct spin to the cue ball. This shot was very difficult because I needed to go very close to balls located near the left middle pocket. And hopefully this was not a big problem for me, but I struggled with correct contact with left long rail, which resulted that I hit it too early or too far. In many cases I was able to hit 4 ball, but it was very challenging to find this perfect contact with rail. In some cases I was able to pot 4 ball with direct contact without using left long rail, but I wanted to recreate this shot with very high precision, so I didn't give up. In one moment I was very close to recreate this shot perfectly, but there was not enough speed to pot the 4 ball. And when I thought that it will be impossible to make this shot, then I was able to hit the cue ball with perfect speed and spin, which resulted with perfect contact with 4 ball. It took me 139 attempts to recreate this shot, which was another big shock for me. In the following example, we have very interesting situation where Efren didn't see 6 ball, which is blocked by 7-8-8. But Efren did it in absolutely shocking way, using 2 jaws of the middle pocket to slightly hit the 6 ball and send the cue ball to safe position on the table. During this shot, the main difficulty was to find correct contact with first jaw, because 9 ball was located very close and partially blocked direct access. I tried many times, but in most cases I hit it 6 ball too thick, which opened all balls. I was not able to recreate this shot with perfect accuracy like in original situation, but I left the cue ball behind the 8 ball what is acceptable and resulted with very safe position. And now we need to look closer at another famous kickshot that Efren executed against Chris Melling. This time we need to pot 4 ball into the top right corner and make position for 5 ball, and I thought that it will be very challenging to pot the 4 ball because it was located far away from the pocket. But to my surprise, from first attempts I was very close to make this ball, and hopefully I did it already in 5th attempt with very high accuracy. In the following situation, we face another very original and famous positioning where Efren caused the cue ball to follow path which looked like banana and created perfect position for 7 ball. The main difficulty was to avoid making contact with the 9 ball, which was located right behind the 6 ball. Despite initial problems, I was able to apply correct spin and recreate this shot in 7th attempt. The result was a bit different, but I think that on my table it was everything what I could do. And finally, I am going to pay attention to this iconic situation where in the siding rack of final match against Air Strickland, Efren found himself in huge trouble after accidental pot on table into the corner pocket. He needed to hit the 5 ball which was located in the other side of the table, which was the huge problem because there was no chance to use natural path for the cue ball. But Efren shocked everyone by executing most famous Z-shot and hit a 5 ball in perfect place which ended inside the pocket. From the beginning, I knew that this shot will be very difficult and it should be a huge challenge for me to recreate it accurately. Initially, I had very big problem to find correct place on the first long rail where to hit the cue ball. The second problem was to apply correct amount of speed, and that was absolutely crucial. I saw that I need to hit long rail bit earlier and apply a lot of left-hand English because cue ball needed to hit second rail from bit higher angle. But I had big problem with speed of this shot because if I hit it too lightly, then cue ball landed a bit further or made contact with 7 ball. And if I hit it too hard, then I made a contact with second long rail too early. In some attempts, I found a perfect path and hit it 5 ball almost perfectly, which resulted that I almost spotted it.
5 minutes later.
But time passes and I tried unsuccessfully, which made me very nervous and doubtful.
No, God!
The next day.
Additionally, the nervousness was increased by the fact that in many cases I was very close to hitting the 5 ball at the correct point. Time passed and I knew that I had already made a huge number of attempts, but I was still extremely motivated to make this shot because without it, this video would make no sense. And when I was extremely frustrated, the moment came when I made perfect shot and the 5 ball ended inside the pocket, which made me completely relieved and happy that it was finally over. And I couldn't believe that it took me 380 attempts to recreate this shot, and I have no idea how I found motivation to struggle with this shot so long. Okay, and finally I would like to determine top 3 Efren Reyes shots, and I had big problem to choose the third place, but I decided to give this place to this amazing 4-rail kickshot with effective pot on 1 ball, which Efren executed after very lucky turn of events for his opponent. Maybe it was not very hard to recreate, but in my opinion, in that moment Efren needed to hit the cue ball very precise to make this ball and create position for the next ball on the table. The second place on the podium and silver medal goes to this beautiful 3-rail kickshot which Efren executed during match against Ronnie Alcano. For me, it was very challenging to find correct speed and spin, and despite the fact that I made this ball directly without using another long rail, I was motivated to do the same like in original shot, which resulted with 139 attempts. And finally, first place on the podium, gold medal, and in my opinion the greatest pull shot of all time goes to absolutely outstanding Z-shot which Efren executed against Air Strickland. The absolutely dramatic context of this shot deserves respect because it was made in the final match and in the deciding rack. I have no idea how it was possible that Efren was able to do this exactly at this moment, and for me this shot was a huge challenge and cost me a huge amount of time, strength and nerves. But fortunately I was able to perform it correctly and complete this list of the 10 greatest Efren Reyes pull shots in the history. As you can see, I did a lot of work and it took me very long time to recreate all of these shots, and actually I am absolutely exhausted after this episode. So in this case, I will be really grateful if you leave a thumbs up for me and hit the subscribe button to be updated with videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to watch these 2 videos which I want to recommend for you at this moment. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care!